Previously on Mascot Mayhem. Costumed creatures have been enlivening NHL game nights for decades. From a Calgary canine to a Seattle sea troll and whatever this thing is. If you missed any of that, go back and watch episode 1 now. These are the origin stories of cartoon characters brought to life. As Aesthetics presents Mascot Mayhem, a fuzzy history of the NHL. As mascot madness swept across pro sports in the 1990s, the NHL's newest expansion teams were not about to be left out. Like Nash, it was another toothy type to kick off the decade, the one and only S.J. Sharkie. He hadn't quite made the swim into the Bay Area for opening night, but by mid-season, he was ready to make a splash. Sharkie's most unforgettable moment might just be this little blunder, when a pregame comedy bit went wrong and left him dangling from the rafters of the Shark Tank. It took about 20 minutes to finally rescue the marooned mascot. But it didn't discourage him from an even bigger stunt, rappelling from the rafters with fireworks strapped to his skates. Beyond that, he's certainly not known for being camera shy, always ready to interrupt a live broadcast or two.
So with the Edmonton Oilers after the trade from Montreal. Hey, Sharkie, how are you, bud?
He wears a numberless Sharks jersey because, of course, he's got a dorsal fin sticking out of his back, so no room for a number. Sharkie holds the distinction of being named Most Awesome Mascot in all of sports at Cartoon Network's 2012 Hall of Game Awards. Soon after Sharkie came another water-loving mascot in California. Wild Wing famously flew down from the rafters at the pond in Anaheim on Mighty Ducks opening night in 1993. He was the first mascot to be introduced this way, and others would certainly follow. Unfortunately, not all of his stunts have gone exactly to plan, like this big leap through a ring of fire. Ouch. But Wild Wing was quick to shake it off and get into a few more scrapes as a cartoon character, starring in the Mighty Ducks animated series in '96, and was even seen bursting through the ice on the chest of his team's first alternate jersey, and later, this reverse retro version. Today, he mostly maintains a presence in the real world, suiting up on game day and, well, defending the pond any other day. And lest you think California's first NHL team was last to the mascot party, oh no. Kingston was designed for the LA Kings in 1988, long before the Sharks or Ducks even existed. But this goofy snow leopard did not last very long. After only a few seasons, that was that, until 20 years later, when the Kings moved their AHL affiliate closer to home. Kingston came out of retirement to cheer on the Ontario Reign. The Kings, meanwhile, went back to the drawing board and decided a lion was a better symbol of royalty, having once been featured as part of their primary logo. Bailey made his debut in 2007, named after Ace Bailey, the Kings' former director of pro scouting. Ace died in the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, alongside scout Mark Bavis. The Kings wore a special patch on their jerseys that season, paying tribute to Ace and Mark, and Bailey still wears that patch on his jersey to this day. For all that's touching about Bailey, he is still a mascot, and mascots are all about fun. Take his jersey number, for example. Why does he wear 72? Well, it's the average temperature in Los Angeles, of course. A cheeky way of embracing the Kings' place among the NHL's Sunbelt teams and sticking it to all those shivering northerners. And early in the 22 season, Bailey was placed on IR, reported to be out with an upper body injury. Was it the result of daredevil stunts, like his clumsy comrades in Anaheim and San Jose? Not exactly. He later showed up in full facial bandages and sunglasses. Very soon, though, the secret was out, as Bailey revealed his new face alongside a couple of Hollywood's most famous plastic surgeons. That's quite the new look. But Bailey and Kingston and even Nash and Sabretooth are just the tip of the iceberg of feline mascots in the NHL. you might as well call them Mascots. Or maybe don't, but I'm not lying when I tell you there is another lion. On opening night in Ottawa, October 8th, 1992, the world was introduced to Spartacat. Whoa. Wait, they can make cat puns, but I can't? Anyway, his name seems to be a play on the ancient Greek gladiator Spartacus, but most people just call him Sparty, like the nameplate he wears on his jersey. And there's no number back there, just a big paw print right above his name. Sparty actually started this whole mascot party when I noticed his official character artwork had been redesigned earlier this year. The old art more closely matched the goofy grin of the costumed character. The new design is quite different. Certainly a cuter cat, but if the Senators want to keep these brands aligned, Sparty may have to make a special trip out to LA to see Bailey's doctors. Have to keep an eye out for any so-called upper body injuries this season. Another whiskered figure burst onto the NHL mascot scene in the 90s. Florida launched a nameless Panther on opening night in 1993. It took 2 years, a mascot naming contest, and a 5-year-old boy to come up with this moniker, Stanley C. Panther. Despite tempting fate by naming their good luck charm after the Stanley Cup itself, it seemed to work, as the Panthers made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final that season. Of course, they got swept by Colorado, so maybe it wasn't such good luck after all. But that season would give birth to another future mascot. Ahead of the 1995 home opener, a rat invaded the Panthers' locker room, and team captain Scott Mellanby famously did a bit of pest control with his hockey stick. Florida fans rallied around throwing plastic rodents onto the ice to celebrate big moments. Yeah, I don't really get it either. But the tradition stuck, and almost 20 years after that, the Panthers introduced a second mascot, Viktor E. Ratt. I guess they like mascots who have middle initials. Anyway, he's an anthropomorphic gray rat, and based on what I know from Tom and Jerry, I would not think Stanley and Viktor would be such good pals. But Florida is a weird place, I'll be the first to admit it. So why can't a cat and mouse be friends? And we'll get back to that Sunshine State weirdness in just a minute. But first, there's another Viktor we should get to know. You see, a month before Viktor E. Ratt turned up in South Florida, we met Viktor E. Green in Texas. But before anyone cries trademark infringement, I should point out that the Dallas Stars spell Viktor with a C, while the Panthers spell it with a K, so it's totally different, okay? Who is this green fuzzball anyway? Your guess is as good as, well, anybody's. The team says he's an alien from a galaxy far, far away, but maybe they should have said an alien from a distant star, to stay on brand. His name is a play on the team's official primary color, launched with their 2013 rebrand. They called it Victory Green. Get it? Viktor E. Green? Anyway, Viktor has a pair of antennae on his head in the shape of hockey sticks, just in case you forgot where you are on game night. But as hard as it is to believe, he is not the only green creature with hockey stick-shaped antennae. Stinger was introduced to Ohio hockey fans a solid year before the Columbus Blue Jackets ever took the ice. That was July 2nd, 1999, although oddly his official website reports he wasn't born until the following day. Chalk it up to mascot logic, I guess. Now, like most mascots, Stinger wears jersey number 00, but his may have a little extra meaning, hinting at the year 2000, the Jackets' inaugural season. The bug is based on a character created for the team by artists Ken Lowe and Van Duong. Ken told the story of designing Stinger in my NHL prototype series, recounting his assignment.
We want a bug to be our mascot, and we want the bug to be a logo. So create a cool bug that is like a revolutionary soldier. And so that's what I did.
So if the Blue Jackets name is a reference to the uniforms of Union soldiers in the American Civil War, why a bug mascot? All I can think is you probably have to make the mental leap from Blue Jacket to Yellow Jacket. But the NHL already had a yellow bug. We'll get to him next. So I guess they blended blue and yellow and a green bug was born. The Stinger logo was originally designed as a full-bodied bug, 6 legs, and that famous rear end. But only his head made it onto the uniforms, as a shoulder patch on those CBJ jerseys until 2003, at which point he was replaced by a hat. The same hat that Stinger himself now wears, which has probably come in handy for a hat trick or two. A few years later, Nationwide Arena got a new fixture. Oh, jeez. This replica Civil War cannon soon inspired a new third jersey and a teammate for Stinger. Boomer, the mustachioed anthropomorphic cannon, was not around for long, disappearing into mascot oblivion before the end of the season. That is, until he made a spooky cannon cameo for a Blue Jackets Halloween video in 2020. Stinger continues to fly solo in Columbus these days, but like I said, he was not the NHL's first insect. For that, we'll need to head back to Florida. This is ThunderBug, the overgrown firefly, also known as a lightning bug, debuted on opening night in Tampa back in 1992 and has been a regular at Lightning games ever since. And as Tampa Bay's favorite bug, Bolts fans are likely to find him all over the place, from the beach to the red carpet, from the driving range to the basketball court, or even just hanging out at a watch party with fans. And how could he call himself a Florida bug without some sweet shades? ThunderBug really has quite the variety in his wardrobe. While a lot of 90s mascots were born alongside expansion teams as the NHL grew, a few emerged with relocated teams, leaving other mascots in the dust. When the Carolina Hurricanes arrived from Hartford in '97, fans soon met number 97, Stormy the Ice Hog. Now, you're not wrong to wonder how this skating swine relates to the swirling cyclone the team is named for. Thing is, it doesn't really. But sometimes you have to bend your brand a bit to find a mascot. It's a little tough to anthropomorphize a hurricane, so you look closer to the ground. Fact is, pig farming is a big industry in North Carolina, and sometimes it's as simple as that. Stormy has been embraced by fans and has even made a few new friends. Caroline became his mascotting counterpart in 2018, but she seemed to vanish after only about a year, and has even been scrubbed from the team's social media history, with old posts seemingly deleted. What's with the Caroline cover-up? Anyway, the following season, the Hurricanes paid tribute to their past with the Hartford Whalers throwback uniform, usually worn once or twice a season. And when the green jerseys come out, a certain green visitor comes to town. Pucky the Whale has made a few trips to Raleigh, often seen hobnobbing with Stormy, and even once with Caroline before she vanished into the void. But Pucky has an odd story. He was never actually the mascot of the Whalers, at least not in this form. Hartford fans first met Pucky in 1972 with the WHA team known as the New England Whalers. He was the shoulder patch on their jerseys until the mid-1980s. It wasn't until 2010 when the AHL's Hartford Wolfpack rebranded mid-season to become the Connecticut Whale that Pucky was brought to life. Of course, after only a few seasons, the Wolfpack branding returned, leaving Pucky a free agent. In addition to his Raleigh appearances, he was seen cheering on the PHF's Connecticut Whale in recent years, at least until the upheaval this summer that launched a new women's league without a Connecticut team. But don't worry about Pucky. History has proven you can't keep a good whale down. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for other bygone mascots. Next time on Mascot Mayhem, we visit the mascot void, forgotten characters, and the ones who replaced them. Thanks for watching episode 2. This series will continue, so leave a like and then subscribe to the Aesthetics channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode drop. That's all for now. See you next time.